Right, let's do some stuff. Today I'm going to test ride a T-max, and this is a scooter that I've wanted to test ride for a long time. I've wanted to ride one of these for such a long time. I am a scooter fanboy and I've had loads of scooters in my life. The last bike I had was a 350 Forza Honda, so I'm really excited about this one. So let's go for a ride. Right, let's do some stuff. This is a Yamaha scooter, as we all know. It's a T-max, a 560 T-max. And just out on a little test ride. I thought I'd just do a little walk round so that we can talk about the bike a little bit. And the specifications, etc, etc. And I'm aware that in 2025 there is going to be a new version, or sort of a facelift model, and so I wanted to test ride this slightly older one just to get a little bit of a feel for it, because I'm a bit of a scooter guy, to be fair. So it's a 562cc parallel twin liquid cooled, and it's got 47 horsepower, which, if I'm honest, is kind of loads, you know. It's enough for almost everything that you need to do. So right, what else have we got? Torque figures, 56 Newton meters. It's an automatic CVT drive, twist and go, so it means that the front brake is in the normal place up on the lever there, and the back brake is the other lever. So those of you who don't ride scooters or haven't ridden scooters, in my opinion, the front brake and the back brake are best used together as much as possible, because typically the front brakes are quite small on scooters, as you can see. Although on later models, the newer models, they do get a bit bigger. It's got a 15-litre fuel tank. I don't know the range, but I suspect it's fairly good. It weighs 218 kilos. It's got an 800mm seat height, which is, it's not too bad, but the thing is because they're so wide, as you can see, they're so wide, it means your legs are splayed out, which means it's harder to touch the ground. 15-inch front and back wheels. Interestingly, when you've got these smaller wheels, it tends to make the bike feel a bit different from a sort of normal size motorbike with big 17-inch wheels, in the way that it kind of tips in really quickly and easily. It's just a different feeling, and also where the bike's quite long, it is also like the handling characteristics are a little bit different because of that. I'll try and explain that a bit as I ride it. This is a slightly older model, so it's got like an analog dashboard, as you can see. But what these bikes do come with are some quite interesting bits. So first of all, if I can turn it on, you've got some storage under the seat, which is easily big enough for a full face lid, and some bits with a nice little light, look. Fuel cap in there, standard sort of stuff. But what it's got cruise control, it's got an electronically activated screen, it's got heated grips and a heated seat. So in my eyes, that basically puts it up into touring levels of sort of comfort. And the kind of riding I do is I do a lot of sort of slow riding, which a scooter's good at, and then I like to do some distance riding, which isn't, you're never really going that fast. So I thought perhaps one of these is for me. I know in England they're not very popular, but I love them. So the 2025 model will be coming out in March in 2025, and I'm thinking of buying one. So should we go for a ride? It's a bit chilly this morning, so let's go. Right, we've had a bit of a walk around the bike. Now it's time to take it out for a bit of a ride. Going to try and do some slow stuff, some fast stuff, some bits in the middle, and then just have a chat about all the aspects of a bike that everyone's interested in, and let you know what I think. Let's go. Let's take this little beauty for a ride then. And it's on its side centre stand. It's got a side stand as well. Incidentally, it does cut the power when you put the side stand down. There's a handbrake up on the lever there for when you want to park it on the side stand. I think most of the time people put these on the centre stand as it is now, and I have to say it's very easy to rock it off and very, very easy to rock it on to the side stand, and very stable on the side, on the centre stand rather, very stable on the centre stand. So that stands out of the way. I think I'll just put the little side stand down, and it leans over quite a long way. See that? I mean, I know I'm on a bit of a slope there, but that is quite leaning over as bikes go, just so people get a feeling for it. Right, and this one just it's keyless, so that's it. I'm started, I'm ready to go. Right, well, no time like the present. Be nice and easy to control. So this bike has got two modes. It's got touring, so in the middle of the screen there's a little T mode, and I can tell you I just took it for a little 5-minute spin, and the initial bite of the throttle is much smoother on T mode. You can just sort of, as you roll the throttle on, it just copies you. So this is low speeds, 40 kilometers an hour down to 20 here, and it's nice. Definitely no jerking or anything like that. And then once you get over 4,000 revs, it decides that it wants to shoot off a bit. And then if you just pin the throttle, this is still in touring mode, she takes off. So that's touring mode. Let's pop it over by pressing the mode button over here to S, to sport mode. Now I'll do some low. I'm not going to say it's jerky, but it feels more like it wants to do something at low speeds. And if you roll on gently, very smooth, and it's definitely a quicker pickup. So yeah, let me just, I want to put the windscreen down. Right, there we go. So that's the windscreen all the way down, and I'm getting, well, wind noise, should we say. I'm not getting any buffeting, I'm not going fast enough, but I'm getting some wind noise on the top of my helmet. And then now I'm looking all the way through the screen. I don't know why anyone would buy a dark screen, but anyway, this bike's got one. There's no wind on my body or my head anywhere, and you get, when you ride a bike with these big screens, you always get that sort of wind that goes over your head and down the back of your neck, and this is the same, so you get a bit of that. And the little button for it is just up here on my left thumb, and I think I can set it somewhere intermediate, so I've got no wind noise really, but I can see over the top of the screen, which is quite nice. Then there's a little menu button on the far side on the left there, which I can control with my finger, which will scroll me through some modes. So screen, heated grips, heated seat, and then something else, I don't know what that means, and screen again. So let's wait for this van to go past. Well, so that's basically your functions, apart from the cruise control, which I will try out on the motorway shortly. Indicators are nicely positioned, headlights up and down. As we looked around the bike, I did notice that it's got daylight running lights. Now, to the brakes. This machine's done 6,000 miles, 10,000 kilometres. I would say that the brakes are adequate on the front. They're not, there's not like a big bite on them. Go a bit faster. And as I predicted, I mean, it's a 220 kilo bike. Suspension's quite good. To really haul it up quickly, you need to pull both brakes in, and then it's very effective. But I have to say that the rear brakes on these kind of scooters are nearly always very good. So I think that's the braking covered. Now, suspension. I mean, I'm 85 kilos, something like that. And this is quite a bumpy road. And I think the seat's very plush. I think that is definitely helping towards the comfort. And yeah, this is quite a good road for the Netherlands for testing bumpiness, because there's not many bumpy roads here. Yeah, you know, I'm feeling them a little bit through my bottom, but ultimately it's very comfortable, and also like it's not crashy. You know, like anyone that's ridden sort of a 125 to 350, 400cc scooter will know the suspension is definitely somewhere where they save the money. It's very crashy. So far I haven't really felt any of that. Now I want to test out the acceleration in sport mode, and there's a little bit of road coming up. I can just give it a bit of a squirt. Right, let's get around these corners. Well, corners, that's an interesting handling. So the way I would describe it is it turns in quite quickly, and then the more you lean it, the more it will want to turn, definitely. So 7,500 revs it goes to, and it pulls away, you know, very well. If you were overtaking, then it would be more than enough. The exhaust sound, or the engine sound, is what can I say about that? It's just a sound. It's nothing exciting for sure. There is a bit of vibes through the seat. What am I doing? 50 kilometers an hour here, and I'm in sport mode. Let me just change it back into touring. Do that same 50 kilometers. Yeah, is it 50k? There's a bit of a vibe through the seat, but not the handlebars. 60, still a little bit, but not the handlebars. Nice speed bumps to check the suspension out. I mean, it's actually not bad. It controls the big bumps pretty well, I have to say. I mean, I suspect that the 2025 version of this it can only be better. It's got better suspension for sure. So far, very impressed. But is it something I would want to live with as my only bike? That's a question. There's a bit of an interesting little junction here. That's it, back round on myself. I think I'm going to just let these people come through, it's no problem. Right, as far as my feet on the ground, I am tippy-toed. But that's not really a problem. The weight's so low down on these scooters. So I say cruising around, I'm in touring mode now. This is definitely more of a comfortable throttle response. It's not like urging you to race off into the distance, it's just cruising along, which is nice. It's a nice feeling. So what I will say about this particular bike is the back tyre is nearly spent. It's not a new back tyre by any means, and I think you can feel that in the handling. It's got sort of like a slow bit where the tyre's a bit flattered off, and then all of a sudden it will tip in. And I suspect that once you've got new tyres on this, that will be a different feeling altogether. So there we go. I mean, there's not much more to discuss on the riding side of things down a little lane like this, stuck behind a learner. So we'll move on to the next location. So I've been for a little ride now, and I think I can give a bit of a vibe of the bike. Talking of vibes, yeah, it's got a little bit of a vibe to it, this thing. And it's not the end of the world. It's not a deal breaker, and I suspect the newer versions are better. And that engine note is a bit, well, it's not really very nice, is it? So there's a few other things to talk about. That is the wind on your body. There is practically nothing. There's a tiny bit on the outside of my legs, but nothing. And the mirrors are, I say, about half useless. So only about 44% of the mirror is not just a reflection of my arm, unless I go like this, and then I can see more. So in your normal riding position, you can see everything you need to see, but it would be better if you could see a little bit more. So the mirrors for me are a bit of a meh, a bit of a letdown on the bike. The heated seat works very, very well. I've had to switch it down. I had it on full, and I've had to knock it down to number 2. So it's 1, 2 and 3, and I went back down to number 2. The grips, on the other hand, are on full, but, well, yeah, they're not really hot. Yeah, they're on number 3, and I wouldn't have said they're like, I've got summer gloves on, they're alright with summer gloves, but if you have winter gloves on, I'm not sure you get that much of an effect off them. So I'm hoping on newer models that gets better. I suspect possibly it does. The cruise control is very easy. You turn it on down there, press set for your speed, and to turn it off you just throttle away and then switch that off, and you can go up and down to adjust your speed on the fly. So it's just like a normal version. Right, let's pull in, grab some fuel, see what that's like to do. I'm sure it's pretty easy. And then jump on the motorway and drop the bike back. So to turn it off, little button there, side stand down, swing my leg through, fuel. It's quite nice, you don't need any keys. Undo that little widget there, 95. And we'll just put 5 litres in or something. It's a little token gesture. It's quite a lot for a bike with a 15 litre fuel tank, isn't it? Well, how easy was that? Get a receipt. Put that in my pocket. Well, actually, that was very harmless, wasn't it? Very quick and easy to do. Turn that back on. Back brake on. Press the button, and we're away. And that got us, look, 3/4 of a tank for 5 litres. Lovely. Right, so I'm going to go into the sport mode, so S for sport. Right, should just miss this car, time it right. Get a nice little flip-flop round the... yeah, it's a funny little turn in, yeah, with that back tyre being a bit bald on the back. I think the weight of the bike is quite confidence inspiring when you're going around the corners. You know, it definitely feels like it knows where it needs to go, if that makes sense. Some bikes don't, do they? Well, I mean, it's all the power you ever need, I'd say. I don't think you need any more power than 57 horsepower. I think you need a bit more front brake, but once you pull the back brake in, it... Wow, just launched me away from the lights there. But almost took me by surprise how quickly that pulled away. Right, okay, we're going to do a 0 to sort of 100 km/h, so 0 to 60, but I've got to go around this corner first, so it's not a fair comparison. So let's just see how we get on with that. And then it's just a little trip up the motorway and back to the store. So I've done a bit of slow riding off camera, and apart from a little bit vibey, oh look, there's some rubble on the road up there. It's lovely to ride slowly. Right, here we go. And that's it, we're at 100. So 60 mile an hour is no time at all. It's fast it's probably still faster than most cars. Right, what a lovely, beautiful old Volvo there, look, a bit of history. Look at that. And then next to the new one, look, oh, just magical to see. Right, okay. So, right, here we go. Put the screen up, can't I, a bit? I'll go up full. Yeah, it's, you get, when the screen's up all the way, you get that feeling of the wind going over your head and pushing you forwards, which I'm not sure I really like. And to be honest with you, this screen goes up higher than I need it to go. So we'll find a little happy medium, and I'm looking through the screen. Again, I'm not really a fan of these tinted screens. It's not something for me. It's not something I would buy or put on a bike. But you know, life's a fashion show and all that. So, buffeting, 100 kilometers an hour is not really easy to tell you, and that's the speed limit in the Netherlands, so I can't go much faster. But no buffeting at this speed. So all day, if you want to ride at 100 kilometers an hour all day, which I'm sure fuel wise will be better, I'm doing 5,500 revs, just almost something like that, 5,600 revs to hold a 60 mile an hour, 62 mile an hour. So yeah, I think the fuel economy would start to suffer when you get up to 70, 75, 80. If you were banging down the motorway at 80 mile an hour, I think it would use the fuel up relatively quickly. But I've no idea how far this will go on a full tank. I'm only, you know, borrowing it for a short period of time, so I can't tell you. I get, you know, when you're on a bigger bike, you get that feeling that people can see you better because you're on a big bike. I kind of get that feeling. It's such a planted, but I mean, like, the weight is so low. It's so easy to ride this. I mean, this is up there for, you know, if you want to go touring, just get one of these. You don't need a big BMW RT GS, you know, whatever they are. You just, you know, they're so, you know, you could probably buy 2 of these for one of them. Get one for your wife. She hasn't got to go on the back then. No, I like it. I like the heated seat. I like the seat in itself. There's loads of room for your legs. Look, I can put my legs forward if I want. The switch gears, good quality. It feels pretty good quality. The mirrors are naff. The front brake is lacking, but it's made up with the back brake. And this is a thumbs up. I'm very, very tempted to buy one of these as my next bike. Could you have this as your only bike? Yeah, I think so. It's quick enough. It's you know, you can have fun on it. I think the handling is the thing that will let it down if you're really into a lot of fun. I mean, it does handle, but it just doesn't feel like a motorbike when you're riding it. It does feel like a big scooter. That's not necessarily a negative, but it is something to consider. What I will say is, I don't know what the prices are of these in the UK, second hand, but if you want to reduce your costs travelling to work, mate, get one of these. This is the thing. Free parking, cheap to run, you know, the servicing costs are going to be relatively low, the tax and insurance is going to be low. The only thing is you've got to make sure no one nicks it, and that's always a thing. You've got to be able to, especially if you're in London or something like that. These are prime target, aren't they, in London? Will we get through? Yeah, I think we can. I really like it, look. Flick. I mean, it's not a quick flick, it's a bit of a, oh, let's call it a wallow. But it handled just fine, and I think that it's the weight distribution on the bike, because the weight's so low. It's not like I've got a KTM 890 SMT where the weight is quite high because you've got the tank right up in the air. You've really got to, you know, hook it over, whereas this just goes over on its own. You don't need to really try. It's just a totally different experience, really. A nice one, but it's totally different. So we're almost back to the depot, to the Good Heart Motorcycle Centre, which I can highly recommend. I bought 2 bikes from there, and I suspect I'll be buying a 3rd one. And a big thank you for them for letting me test ride this bike today. I shall be putting a link in the description. Oh, look at that Renault 5, look. Wow, bit of history there. I've really enjoyed this bike. I think this is a thumbs up, and I suspect that the newer ones, let me a little think about where to go. That guy there on this 4x4. See, look round the, just, it's a little bit late to tip in at the edge there, but probably more to do with me than the bike. It's just so easy to ride. I love it. I'm a big fan. But I always was. I always was a scooter guy. So there we go. I don't know if I look cool on it, but I don't really care if I look cool. I've never looked cool. I'm 44. I'm over it. Right. Well, there you go. Thanks for watching, and catch me soon for some more stuff. Oh, what a great ride that was. Now I'm officially a fan of the T-max and I want one. But they're a lot of money, so we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching.